Hello guys, welcome back to another mod car review in Assetto Corsa. Today we're going to be reviewing the BMW Z4 Hill Climb. Now, honestly, I think hill climb is one of the coolest forms of racing, and I know I say that about a lot of forms of racing, but I'm a huge racing nerd, so just bear with me guys. But I'm really excited to review this car, so let's jump right into it. So before I can review this car for you guys, I want to give you some specs and some history about the car. Even though it's a fairly new car and there's not that much history to it, I'll at least give you some specs and what I have for history. So to start, it has a 4.4 liter V8 with about 550 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque. Now, in my opinion, if you ask me, this is the best combination for a racing V8, high horsepower, low torque. I know a lot of people's opinions differ, but that's just my opinion. Don't crucify me in the comments, guys. It has a 6-speed sequential transmission and a full carbon fiber body weighing in at only 1,265 kilograms, or about 2,788 pounds. This car has competed in the European Hill Climb Championship, and a similar car that's actually based, well, they're based off the same chassis, but it's a very similar car, competed in GT3 racing, and actually did pretty darn well. This is a really high downforce car. It's not, I mean, it's very powerful, but it's not all about the top speed. It's a very high downforce car, considering it is, well, a hill climb car, so it's more about the tight turns and the short straightaways. So just keep that in mind going into the rest of the video. But that's going to wrap it up for history and specs. Now for my initial thoughts. The first thing I thought about this car was that it was a god tier car. That it was literally the best car in this entire game that I've ever downloaded out of any mod. Even better than like an F1 car, anything. And then I realized the ABS and traction control were on. So I turned those off really quick, like I've been doing with every car in this series and in these videos. And then it really leveled the car out for me. It has a lot of power, of course. It's 550 horsepower. So you definitely get a lot of wheel spin, rear-wheel drive. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's gonna spin some wheels if you treat it poorly. And the brakes are really weird. They like pull to one side, no matter like what you're doing as far as braking. Like, they pull really hard to one side, and it's absurdly confusing. And I don't like that. I don't know like what the problem is with that. I tried looking in the INI files to see if I could like correct that or something, but I couldn't, and so I just kind of was left dealing with it. But I did put together a pretty decent lap on every track that I was able to record, and so that's why you guys have some footage. But the brakes just felt really weird. And the next thing I noticed, it's insanely fast. Like, it does have 550 wheel horsepower. It is rear-wheel drive. It's really light for a GT3 car, and it just felt like it absolutely rips, like in a straight line. Once you get past third gear, the gearing is really short, and so you're just like bah, and you're just slamming through the gears, and it feels awesome. But to that token, it also feels like a hill climb car, which means plenty of downforce, and just a real joy to drive in the corners. Because that's what this car is made for. It's made for corners. It's not made for the straightaways. So I kind of felt bad putting it against other cars on Austria, but I mean, it is what it is. That's where I'm testing all the cars, and that's going to wrap it up for my initial thoughts. So now for my in-depth thoughts. The first thing I noticed is the suspension felt a little bit wonky. So after some diagnosis, I figured out that it was the toe, so I added a little bit of negative toe, and it handled way better. It had much better turn-in response. So if you guys do go ahead and download this car, I would highly recommend that you add just a little bit of negative toe. You do lose a little bit of stability at the top end, but like I said, the top end isn't that crazy, so you're not going to struggle that much. It is a hill climb car, so it's not really made for top speed. But on the note of top speed, the gearing is what really limits top speed. I believe 6th gear gears out at around 250 kph, which is about 150 miles an hour, which it's not crazy. I think a 350Z will go faster than that from the factory. But if you play around with it a little bit, extend 5th and 6th gear, and then make a longer, taller final drive ratio, you'll be able to get a higher top speed. But then you become drag limited, which kind of sucks even more because that depends on your inclination and everything. So if you're gonna get it, if you're gonna get this car, get in it, change the toe, and change the gearing a little bit. Find what works for you. That would be the best piece of advice that I have for this car, is find what works for you. Because what works for me might not work for you. You might like a little bit of positive or whatever. The next thing I noticed after driving it for a little while is it just sounds absolutely absurd. I actually went into the sound files, and it's not based off of any V8 like production motor. It's based off of a V8 F1 car, so it does sound kind of crazy. And then looking at it more, just the more you drive it, looking in the interior, the more you look at the replays, it just looks absolutely crazy as well. It has an insane wide body, just a giant rear diffuser and a giant rear wing, but it does make it look really, really cool. So those are the things I noticed after my in-depth thoughts and driving it for a little bit. So now we'll get into the lap. So now for the lap. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm testing every single car in this series on the Red Bull Ring or Austria. I'm probably going to call it Austria because I'm a huge F1 fan, and that's just what they call it, so as you do. But to start, I knew this car wasn't going to be great. I knew it wasn't going to set any records, and I knew it wasn't going to beat the BT62. Because, one, the BT62 is meant to go on a track and be incredibly fast. The Z4, however, is meant for hill climbing. So that means tight corners, not long straightaways, really short straightaways actually, but tight corners, changes in elevation, and it's meant to deal with all of that. It's not meant to go on a track incredibly fast. However, I did know that this car was a race car, and so I wanted to try it anyway. So to start out, I got into the 140s, and that was really, really bad. Because the Audi TT ran a 133, and that had a 400 horsepower V8 and like way less downforce, and so I was like, okay, this is just not okay. So I changed things up a little bit. First, I adjusted the brake bias. I changed it from like 70 something to like 64, I want to say. And I got it down to a 138. But that still wasn't good enough. I knew I was missing out on a lot of time because, like I said, the Audi TT ran a 133.8. I knew I was missing out on a lot of time, so I decided to change the suspension a little bit. As I mentioned before, the toe gets a little weird, and so since I was running Austria, I kind of knew what the camber settings should be, so I changed those a little bit. And then I got it down to a 136. And that still wasn't good enough. But there was one thing that I was missing, and I think this was something that I was missing throughout this entire video, and I didn't pay really enough attention to, but that was the gearing. It had a really weird gearing setup the entire time I was racing it around Austria, and I knew it needed to change if I wanted to set a faster lap. So I adjusted the gearing a little bit, changed the final drive, changed 6th gear. I ended up getting it to max out like just as I turned into like turn 2. And that was the longer straight, so that's what was alright. But it would gear out right when I needed the brake, so it made it nice and easy. And I got my lap down to a final time of 133.631. It's slower than the BT62, but that's what I expected. The BT62 is a purpose-built race car. It's a track car. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing less. That's what it's made to do. But it was faster than the Audi, so I felt pretty good about that. It's still a TT1 car, and it's not on the same league as this car, and it's just, it was only a little faster, but I felt comfortable it was that fast. So yeah, that's gonna wrap this video up, guys. Now, that is going to wrap up this video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, let me know in the comments down below if there's any cars that you want to see, or if not, I'm just going to keep picking them. So if you guys want some customized, I don't know, content, then definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'll find a car, and I will definitely give it a review for you guys. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.